and fucked a porn star while his wife was pregnant and he was still elected president. You live in a country where a man transitioned to become a woman after winning a decathlon in 1980, and then after doing so, runs over someone, kills them, runs over a second person, and 4 months later is named Woman of the Year. You live in a country where a man spends 15 months in prison for securities fraud. In a movie they make about him, he punches his wife in the stomach and then kidnaps his own child. And all of you love that movie because I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. It's The Wolf of Wall Street. Who is the face of prison reform in the United States? Who is it? It's Kim Kardashian, who made a sex tape, is the face of prison reform. If you don't believe me, Google right now Kim Kardashian standing next to President Trump having legislation signed while she's in the Oval Office. She made a sex tape where she was having sex with Ray J, and now she's getting legislation passed, and you're worried about a meme that you're supposed to post. 150 years ago.
Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Yahweh Hakodash, and double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So just like everything that man said, right? In Babylon, this is basically the land of pretend. This place, the word Babylon comes from the Hebrew word Babel, which means confused. So Babylon literally means confused land. And all he did was he just said a few things that goes on in this land. And like he said, they want you to be worried about something you say on the internet or a meme you post. You have to be careful about what you say, like on the internet, because it could be deemed offensive or whatever. It's not inclusive. But you got all this folly that goes on in this land, and you're worried about what somebody tweets. You know, this entire land is just a land of pretend. I was in this office the other day, and I'm waiting for the women to come out, and you see a bunch of women walk in, but then you see this big black man, right, wearing a sundress, with lipstick on, you know, acting like he's a woman. Go in there, he the only one in there, and you just hear them talking, and the whole time I'm just like, man, please don't let this. I don't have to have the one to talk to this person. And you know, you just hear them back there. They're all talking, and they have to actually acknowledge dude as what, Miss Jones. And yeah. So and make sure you get is that right, Miss Jones? Correct. And it's like, oh wow, look at that. And then they all come out, and then when not, I don't even look at people like that. I don't even look at them like in the eye. I just don't. It's just vexing. And everybody in that room, everybody who works in that building, everybody in there they're just pretending, acting like, oh, this is actually a woman. And you have to sit there, he got the whole hormone thing going on, and you up in there, and you gotta go with that. Like, come on. Like, this place has to be destroyed. It's just like at camp. We always go to this little Family Dollar to get some drinks or whatever. And they hired this big, tall monster, right? The same thing. Dude trying to pretend, but at the same time, he ain't trying to pretend, right? He just a cross-dresser, whatever it is. And it's just vexing because it's only two lanes, so it could either be the one or the other. And then you just hear, I could heck the next person. It's just so vexing. And I just look down. I don't even look at him in the face. But, everything in this world is upside down, man. And there's just absolutely no way that the Lord is going to allow his hopefully elect to just dwell in this land forever. No way. The book of Isaiah, chapter 60 says, arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord Yahweh is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. Gross darkness the people. These people are in gross darkness. And then they actually teach this stuff in schools. So you have to go out here and you have to pretend like the dollar is okay. You got to pretend like everything's just going okay. You got to pretend like it's normal to be with a woman who then got ran through, and she done been with this person, that person. Oh, but she with you now, so that's all right. Right? You got to pretend like dating is normal. You got to pretend like there's more than two genders. You know what I'm saying? They have to make spaces for them. If you work at a certain job, you have to take courses over it, how to be careful and how not to pronounce this person the wrong person. You got to ask for pronouns. All this madness that they're trying to force and make it normalized. You know, but just basically everybody in this land, the sheeple, they just pretending like everything's just okay. Right? This is the product of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. This is his product. This land right here. It says gross darkness to people. It says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness to people. But the Lord Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Right? And that's talking about Zion, the elect. The light represents this truth, this knowledge. So you see, if the land is full of gross darkness, but yet we have the light, what's going to happen? It's going to be a conflict. And this is all a spiritual war, because this is vexing. Proverbs 29, verse 27. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. So you see, it can't coexist. If gross darkness is on the people, and you represent the light, you know, you deal with truth, you deal with facts, what's going to happen to you? You're going to be ostracized. You're going to be penalized for saying a truth. Like you gotta pretend like Bruce Jenner, dude's name is Caitlyn. You gotta pretend like that's a woman. You gotta pretend like you know, the so-called Jews, that they don't own anything. You can't say nothing. You know, if you even say the word Jewish, people are going to turn their heads, because it's like, oh, wait a minute, you can't say nothing about them. Well, it's like, well, wait a minute, why can't I say the truth about them? If they own Hollywood, if they own the media, isn't that just facts? Oh, but you can't say that, you know. Everybody just be engulfed in darkness and just accept it. You know, just accept this world for what it is, this evil for what it is. Well, if you have understanding and you have truth, if you deal with truth, you're going to be vexed. You're going to be constantly attacked spiritually for speaking up for the truth, for dealing for that which is right. You know, I'm glad I couldn't be a leader in like a leader position in Babylon, because if they end up telling me, okay, you gotta work with this person right here, you gotta, you know, and I gotta what? I gotta sit in and act like, you know, I gotta act like dude's a woman. No, man, no, it ain't gonna work. You see, so we catching hell every day spiritually, because the people is in gross darkness. You know, this is basically just the land of pretend. It's a joke. And you'll say those things, right, out loud. They'll be like, wait a minute, why are you worried about what I say when your president, right, says all manner of things, and yet he gets elected? And everybody in the room just like, well, we just gonna go with it, because, you know, we don't want to, you know, you see what happens to those who try to speak the truth. You get condemned in some way. They don't like it. That's why, like, all my friends in the world, they already know if I'm in the room, there's certain topics they kind of don't want to go into, because they want to just entertain the endless talk of of complaints and ideas. Nobody wants to connect the dots. Nobody wants to say what it is. And I'm basically there as the party pooper because I'm not going to entertain the lies for so long. I'm just going to admit the truth. And it's a problem. And it's because I stand for truth. I deal with reality, right? That's what we do. And you guys like to dwell in lies and play like the land of pretend. Like I'm going to pretend, you know? No, man, it's gonna always be a conflict. That's why the ultimate result is this place has to be destroyed. What's the future? What's the future for the righteous in this land of confusion, this land of pretend? What's our future? What's our potential future? There is no potential future for us. We just hope and pray that this place get destroyed, and it will be destroyed. Right? Isaiah 19:12, a burden towards Egypt, which the new Egypt is America. America in the scriptures is known as Babylon the Great. It's also known as Sodom and Gomorrah. That goes without saying. It's also known as Egypt, which means the house of bondage. Verse 12, it says, Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know that the Lord of hosts hath proposed upon Egypt. The princes of Zon are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. So the Lord gave the society over to foolishness, to absolute wickedness, and they established this as if they're some scholars. As 1 Corinthians 1:20, where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Have not Yahweh made foolish the wisdom of this world? So the wisdom of this world is complete foolishness. It's darkness. It's gross darkness. That's the wisdom of this world. Okay? The wisdom of this world makes you believe that women are just as equal as a man. All these BS movies, feminist movies, all that stuff it's just not even entertaining. Because you already know, this is a feminist agenda movie, just so completely unrealistic. She throwing men over tables and stuff. Unrealistic, man. And you just supposed to sit there and enjoy the movie and be like, yeah, it's a good movie. It's possible. That's this land, man. The land of fucking pretend. Right? The wisdom of this world teaches that the Most High can make mistakes, that it is possible for a man to be a woman to be born in a man's body, and there is a mistake, and so he can then transition. You know, it is possible that you can be attracted naturally to animals. You know, that could be scientifically explained. That you could be scientifically attracted to nothing, or the same gender or sex or whatever it is, and then they put it in school books, and then you got to take courses, and then they give lectures on it, and then they hire them, and then you have to interact with them, and you have to go along with it. You're staring a grown man in his eyes, and he got lipstick on, and earrings and a sundress with some hormone breasts and all that, and you're supposed to look at this person and pretend like, okay, this is a woman, a transgender woman. This is normal. This is no, and it's only spreading. That's the foolishness of this world, man. And you got Israelites that's ashamed to be a part of this truth. You know, they're ashamed to be on the outside. I don't want to be hated for the truth's sake. I don't want to speak the truth because the world is full of darkness. And if I speak the truth, then I can lose family, friends. I can lose my job. I can lose it. So I'm just going to go with the flow, and I'm just gonna pretend just like everybody else. You know, I just want to go back to sleep. I don't want to be woken up from the matrix. You know, I'm just gonna act like that. Here it is. You telling them like, this is all a simulation. Yeah, well, I just want to go with it. You know, if it's a simulation, then I'm just going in it. You know what I'm saying? That's this land, and it just has to go, man. All this stuff is just vexing. Can't go nowhere without being vexed. You know? They want to normalize you dating a tranny. Like that's okay. That's normal. Right? It was a video Elder D Match did responding to that some chick from Field Advice show. Well, she's a woman, so she don't know any better. She don't know nothing. You know? I ain't listening to her no more, but she covered a story about how this man deleted this dude, okay, who's a tranny, and waited until they got married to reveal to him in the bedroom that it was a dude. So the dude got mad and he offed him. She's going to sit up here and say, oh, horrible. This woman lost her life because of this, because of that. Just make sure you be careful. So she's with it because she's a woman. She they believe in everything that they're being told in this society, this foolishness, this wicked shit. And everybody's just going along with it. Everybody just, tragic story. Yep. Like it was just tragic. The man, he, that's messed up that man didn't accept, because you're going to have people that's going to say that man didn't accept, right? Or that his rage is somehow, we don't understand where it came from. You know where it came from. The man was deceived. He reacted in a passionate way, and what happened. But it's just tragic, man. People be careful out here. No. But if you come on a comment board and you speak the truth, like, hey, I'm glad that I hope the Lord protect that. I hope the Lord deliver that brother for what the hell he done caught and all this. Now it's you basically against the authorities. It's foolishness. This entire world is foolishness. It's gross darkness. As 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 5 says, it says, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. And that's another thing. Everybody in the world today wants to pretend like they don't know what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah, that they don't know what a sodomite is. Your own mama, okay, your own woman, because you'll have women who got sodomite friends, and then they're gonna look at you like there's something wrong with you. Why you got a problem with my gay friends? You got hate in your heart. You need to change. Yeah, your own woman to say that. Your own mother to say that. Because, women are wicked. Okay, women and wickedness go hand in hand. Right? You got to combat with them or try to appease them. They basically want you to play pretend with them. Go with the world. And then you bring up, look, what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? And everybody just pretends like we don't know. That never happened. That was it. No, that has nothing, it just never happened in history. But then they'll pick up the Bible and call themselves Christians. You go to a Christian church and the Christians act like they don't know what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, but your pastor's a sodomite. Wow. Bro, this is Babylon, the land of confusion, gross darkness to people, the land of pretend. Verse 7, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. And we're all Lot. So what's our future in this land of pretend? What can we hope for in this land? What place do we have? That's why the scripture says here we have no continuing city. We don't have a future here. So what's left for us? We got one option: cleave into Yahweh Yahushua and pray that he destroy this place. That's our option. There ain't no future here. This land is going to continue to progressively get worse, and the darkness is going to continue to try to hone in on the light, which represents the elect, which is why that insurrection is upon the believers. Because for Satan to fulfill his plan, he has to completely engulf the world in darkness. And he knows that faith, that glimmer of light, which is the elect, cannot exist, which is why they're going to send the insurrection upon the believers. They need the whole world in complete darkness. You see, things are going to keep getting worse, worse, and worse, while the elect will keep shining light as bright, and the darkness is eventually going to try to make a move on that light, but the Lord is going to protect them. But just look at everything that goes on in the world, just like you heard what that man said. Do you really think that this is a place where truth can be established? Do you really think that you, as a just man, who believes in righteousness and stand for upright, do you really believe that if this place was to prolong, that you would actually have a position in this world, that you have something to flee to, for succor, for refuge? You got your own little safe space. Outside of the truth is our only safe space. Do you really think you have any place here, man? You really think you have a future here, man? Do you really think you have the ability to raise your children in righteousness and build your own empire in this land of Babylon? You don't. This place just has to go. That's it. Shalom.